Hey, Mitch.
Oh, hey, Ed, how are you, buddy?
I'm fantastic. I'm so excited about today's
Yeah,
show. We're heading
yeah,
back to New York in the 1970s.
yeah. I'm all dressed up, ready to
I
rock and roll, buddy.
I
Come
know,
on.
me too. I'm so
Let's get
so
it.
excited. We're covering
Yeah,
Saturday Night
Saturday Night
Fever.
Live. What?
What? What did you say?
I said Saturday Night Live. That's why I got the Blues Brothers outfit on again. I thought we were going back to the 70s in New York. I got
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
glasses.
we are.
I got
We're going
live.
back to see Saturday Night Fever, the classic disco film with John Travolta and the Bee Gees soundtrack. And I'm doing a public service announcement about the dangers of disco dancing.
What?
The
What
dangers of
dangers
disco
of
dancing. You know,
what?
you can get Saturday Night Fever. You can get the Hustle Lumbago, and don't forget about the problems with the mirror ball.
What's wrong with the mirror ball?
Well, there's so many fatal uh like that.
Oh no.
Let's just start the show. Hi, this is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Halleck.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. If it is your first time here, thanks so much for joining us. If you are a regular viewer, thanks for coming back. Mitch.
What?
Sorry, I felt like I almost called you. Hey there.
Frog. Hey.
Hey, Mitch, can you tell the people what they need to do if they can? This wig is really hot and tight.
It's
That's
too
all I gotta
tight.
say.
It's squeezing your
It
brain.
is.
Oh,
It is.
sure.
Tell the lovely people what they can do to find out a little bit more about
Oh,
our show.
Ed, it is easy as just standing in front of a mirror with a towel wrapped around your neck and playing with your hair for a good couple hours till you get it just right before you can go hang out with your friends on a Saturday night. Oh, staying alive by pressing that button below. You too, out there. Look at that. You're going to come to watch me and Ed go back into the past and talk about TV, movies, toys, and more right here on Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. And I can tell by the way you're dressed that we are going somewhere in the rockin' 70s.
That's right. We're heading to 1977 and the amazing cultural phenomenon film that is known as Saturday Night Fever, directed by John Badham,
That's
who
right. Blue Thunder.
directed Blue Thunder. He directed, do you know
A
what
lot.
else?
A love story.
Did he?
Think so.
Well, he definitely directed Dracula in 1979. He also
Oh, with
directed,
Franklin Jella? Oh, I saw
yeah,
that.
and he also directed War Games with
Yes, I knew that. I
Matthew
knew he did.
Broderick.
Yes. Yeah.
The film was, as I mentioned, a phenomenon when it came out. It was made for $2 million. It went on to gross over $200 million over its
Yeah.
lifetime. It has the biggest selling soundtrack up to Thriller, the biggest selling album up to Thriller
Well,
of
movie
all time.
soundtrack
Yeah,
probably
it
has
was the
it. Yeah.
biggest selling movie soundtrack up to The Bodyguard, and it's still in the top five
Oh, yeah.
soundtracks in Australia. I know we're all over the shop today, but in Australia, the soundtrack sold 830,000 copies.
Which is weird because there's only 3,000 people in Australia.
I know. I bought a lot of them. No, but there was 14 million people in Australia in 1977. So almost 1 in 14 people owned a copy of the soundtrack of Saturday Night Fever. It was not that it needed to put John Travolta on the map because he was already huge from Welcome Back, Kotter, but it just cemented him. And this was the 1-2 punch between Saturday Night Fever
Greece.
and also for Grease in 1978. Now, before I ask you if you did go see this movie in the cinemas, I can bring out rating the movies
Yeah.
because it falls in that criteria. So let's have a quick read. I'm going to take my glasses off and say Saturday Night Fever. Travolta stars as a young disco stud in this energetic film about tough, dead-end Brooklyn teenagers. He brings credibility to the role, and he stops the show several times with some impressive dancing. It's a stunning film debut. The pulsing music of the Bee Gees adds to the mood. The erratic script is loaded with cliches, yet it conveys a convincing statement about some aspects of youth culture. Also with Karen Lynn Gormley, Barry Miller, Joseph Carley, Paul Pape, and Donna Pascal. Academy Award nomination for Travolta, Best Actor, 3 stars.
Yeah.
Now,
All right. That's good.
it was rated R when it first came out. They released a
Was.
PG rated movie in
Yes.
1979, which
Yes.
obviously I think people forget how um, not how hard it is, how the language and the events that happen in there. It's a pretty full on movie. People just think of the disco dancing. Did you see it in the cinemas?
You know what? I did, but I saw the PG version on the double bill with Grease
Grease?
with my friend because my 2 older sisters, Debbie and Kim, Debbie's 9 years older than me, and Kim is 7 years older than me, or 5 years older than me. I don't know. She's older. But the thing of it is, they loved John Travolta. They saw this movie. I don't know if Kim did, but I know Debbie did. And Debbie had the soundtrack, and we had the album, and we listened to it again and again and again on my dad's stereo system. And yeah, I saw it when it was a PG because I couldn't sneak into a rated R movie. And yeah, I thought it was something else too. But the thing of it is, I had already heard so much about it by that time. I didn't realize it was 1979.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was 2 years later.
Yeah, but so by that time I kind of knew the story of it all, and it had been satirized on everything from Saturday Night Live did a version of Samurai Night Fever where John Belushi played the John Travolta character
Mhm.
Tony Manero, but he did it as this samurai character, and he did the whole thing with the hair and everything like that. And then I I think it was on the Hulk went to a disco. Everybody went to a disco.
Everybody went to Chips, went to a
Every
disco. They did a
yeah, but
send up of it in Flying. Well, it was called Flying High here in Australia, but in Airplane,
an airplane, but that
they
was in
did.
like 80. But I swear the Hulk went to the Odyssey, which was the disco that's in
Yeah,
this
the
movie.
2001
The
Odyssey Disco.
2001 Odyssey. I think they actually filmed it, The Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno, because I remember it like a disco thing going on, but everybody was into disco. Man, oh man, oh man. My favorite cut on the soundtrack was Burn Baby Burn, Disco Inferno.
Oh, the
Burn
Tramps.
Baby Burn, Disco Inferno, burn. We don't want to get flagged. Burn the mother down. That was my favorite line. But the thing of it is, I did see it. I did see the attraction. I thought Donna Pescow was kind of cute for, for what it was. But yeah,
And
it
Fran
was,
Drescher made her film debut in there as well.
she was in that.
Yep,
Oh, I thought her debut was in Dr. Detroit, which is going to come out in
that's
1983.
83, I think. Dr.
Yeah,
Detroit.
yeah, but no, it was something else, and everybody saw it. Everybody talked about it. We had the albums, they had the posters. John Travolta was everywhere. I knew him from Welcome Back, Kotter, of course, and a couple of horror movies too, like The Devil's Rain, and then he was the boy in the plastic bubble, which was a
Yes,
TV movie
I
here.
remember
It was
that.
like a
Yes.
big deal. Yeah, but no, Travolta was everywhere, man. You couldn't go anywhere that summer without seeing John Travolta t-shirts. I had a Sweat Hogs t-shirt. And yeah, it was something. What about you down under? Was
I never saw it in the cinemas. I
what?
remember
Dun, dun,
I
dun.
know. Because yeah, well,
You were a kid.
I was only 7, and I don't remember the PG version coming to
Really?
the cinemas.
Do you remember
But around
Grease?
that time, I was Star Trek the motion picture around that. I was still
No, no,
seeing
no, no, no.
Superman,
But
still
did
seeing
you
Star
saw
Wars.
Grease though, didn't you?
I never got to see Grease.
You never saw Grease in the
So
theaters?
I vividly
Olivia
remember
Newton-John was in there.
I
She's
know
the
I vividly well, that was rated. I think it was like rated
No, it wasn't
M.
rated R. Not
No, but it
here.
was rated M here in Australia, mature.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember my sister, my mum taking my sister to go see it, and
Yeah.
I went for the ride in the car with them to the Village Twin, and I remember I think it was Summer Nights came on the radio as we were
Oh yeah.
going because that was played everywhere, and
Yeah.
she dropped my sister off to go to the movie with her friends, and I
Right.
went back home. I didn't get to
Oh no.
actually.
You
I
didn't
did
see
get to see it
Grease?
later in the cinema, and I owned it on VHS and everything
The
like that.
patron saint of Australia, the late
I
great
know
Olivia
who I stood
Newton-John.
behind. I stood behind on an escalator. So there was Olivia Newton-John, and there was I going up the escalator, and I just could speak to her Bum. I couldn't say
I
anything.
heard she was talking about that until the day she passed. Yeah. But it was everywhere, buddy. I don't know. I mean, well, you said you were a kid, but here I remember Disco Fever was crazy. There was even spin-off TV shows that were kind of only popular because of Saturday Night Fever and the dance moves and everything. And it was, did they have Danny Terrio down there, Dance Fever?
No,
Was
but
it?
I know of that.
It was like a show.
We had
Yeah,
Solid Gold and things like that.
yeah, but this was like a talent show type of thing
Yep.
where people would come out and they would do their moves, and it was a half an hour, and then they'd have the celebrity judges vote on which ones they thought were good. And of course, we had American Bandstand, which obviously you didn't have unless it was called
No,
Australian Bandstand.
we had
With
countdowns. So yeah.
yeah, and it was on every Saturday night or every Saturday morning, I mean, and they would always play the Bee Gees and stuff, and I'd have to watch it. My sisters would watch it, and they'd show all the dance moves and everything. Do the hustle. And you know what's funny? I'm going to send you a clip. There were these knockoff record albums. I don't think they can make that anymore. Well, they don't make record albums anymore. But if you couldn't buy the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever, this company called K-Tel,
Yes.
it was like, I think a guy's name like Carl Telly or something. But K-Tel would make these knockoff, get the hits of the 70s, the disco hits, and it would have those songs, but they were not the soundtrack. They were just random
Sound They were
radio
sound-alikes.
sound alikes.
I've got
Yes,
multiple versions of that.
really.
Yes. Because I
Oh,
always pick them up. And I've got those and a lot of Star Wars. They brought out a lot of Star
yes.
Wars albums
Oh,
by
a
a
lot of
variety
Star
of
Wars knockoffs. Yeah.
I know. But they did bring out actually before I talk about the merchandise, I was just going to say a lot of the music when they were doing the music, it was the film was produced by Robert Stigwood,
Yep.
who was the Bee Gees producer, who went on to produce Grease. Alan Carr was who you might know the name. He was involved obviously in Grease and Can't Stop the Music, another
Yeah.
classic. But when they approached the Bee Gees to do the music, they didn't want to read the script, but they just got an idea of what it was. So they were writing all the songs. So a lot of the songs that they were
Hmm.
dancing to weren't actually the ones that we know from
Oh,
the movie.
so
So they
what
were
when they
actually
were on
dancing to a lot of Stevie Wonder,
really
and they had to recut some of the film to fit with the Bee
the
Gees.
moves that
And
yeah.
when they were doing the practice dancing in the dance studio, it was actually they were dancing to Boz Scaggs and
No kidding.
Lowdown. Classic. I
No
love
kidding.
yeah, Silk Degrees, classic album. But so they used to do that. But merchandise wise, there was actually a lot of stuff. I've got a few
Oh
things
yeah.
here. If you recall our episode where we ate this live on air, the Saturday Night Fever trading cards were very big back in the day. I've got here.
I know there was a puzzle. I know we had a
There
puzzle.
probably was. There was the Saturday Night Fever novelization.
Oh, they made a novelization of that?
Yeah. And what? Look at this. I love this.
Was it pictures? What? A gatefold. Look at you. Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty impressive for a publication back then.
Yeah. Normally they just would have, some a color insert.
Did they have the whole movie in there? Does it tell the story about how the guy falls off the bridge and all
Of
that stuff?
the yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty much word for
Really?
word in here.
Wait. Was it done by Alan Dean Foster?
It was not. It was done by.
What?
Let's have a look here.
That's against the law. Everybody knows every novelization.
H.B.
in the
Gilmore.
70s.
Do you know what this is?
Is it a calendar?
No.
Record album? Oh my God, is it Super 8?
Yep.
Really? And what does it just have highlights of the dance moves and
Yes. So
stuff?
you could actually get, I think, this in two parts. So this is only one part, but
Yeah.
I've got that as well. You can.
Have you
I've
watched it?
Yeah, of course. I've got that Grease, Raiders Lost Ark, Star Wars. I've got
Oh,
all
look at you.
this.
Yes, that's the album we had at our house.
But
Yeah.
it's not. This is not the album.
Oh, it's the program.
This is.
I didn't know they made one of those. What is that? Is that all the music to it? Look
Yep.
at that. Oh, it's a songbook. Look at
Yep.
that,
So
music
you can
book.
play the music on there. So
Wow.
I've got that. And of
But I
course,
don't think they made action figures. I'm pretty
no,
sure.
they didn't. They didn't. And lastly is the
Yes, that's the
album,
one we had.
which was
Yes.
the wonderful Gatefold album.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and you can actually get this. They actually produced this also in silver vinyl.
Oh, we didn't have that.
So I've only got one of this. It's a double album, of course. It
It was
only
on 8-track. I know my sister had the 8-track.
Oh yes. So
Yeah.
there's lots of and t-shirts and I also have in the obviously that
Yeah. The big,
that's the original poster that Kelly got me
yeah.
for my 30th birthday. That's not a
Did you have the
reprint.
disco ball?
I do have it. Hang on, here we go. Ready?
Oh God, no.
Can you see it up there in the
Yeah,
corner?
I see it. I thought that was the Death Star, but yes, I could see your disco ball.
Oh, my pants must be too tight then. All right. So anyway, you know what else I've got? Hang on, I'm a bit
Saturday Night
disheveled now.
Fever?
I've never broken the fourth wall.
I
I've also got I don't know if you remember, they used to bring out they're just like, think of a mirror tile, but they'd have something printed on it. So I've got a John Travolta printed mirror tile as well. That you can
Well,
get it.
those were cocaine mirrors, buddy. I don't know what's
No,
going
no,
on.
no, no.
No,
I've got
no,
Starsky and
they would give
Hutch.
them away. Look, when I was a kid, you'd go to the carnivals, like a carnival, and they'd
Yes.
have prizes, and they had like these feather clips that we thought you put them in your hair, but I
Yep.
didn't know they were for marijuana joints. Then they also had those mirrors that you see like Bruce, whatever, like
Yes.
Saturday Night Fever, but apparently people were using them for narcotics. I didn't know that. Who knew the carnival was just a front for a drug culture that I was just too naive to know about?
I know. I didn't
No,
know
I'm
either.
just
Well,
saying.
mine's up
So
in
if you tell me you have a Saturday Night Fever mirror, I'm thinking that's what that was for.
I've got that. I've got Grease. I've got the Grease mirror.
You
I've
have a
got
grease
Starsky
mirror
and
too?
Hutch and
Was
Starsky
there
and Hutch.
a Saturday Night Fever pinball machine?
There wasn't, but there was Disco Fever, which
Yes.
knocked it up. Which was I've always wanted that pinball machine. And there
Does it
was
play any music? Does it play any notable
no,
song?
no.
No?
It's got a like a John Travolta type. And
What?
here's an interesting thing. You know that just before we wrap up, you know that pose there?
Yeah.
That was done at the end of a big like a 12-hour day they were filming. And the photographer said, John, do you have anything left in you for a photo? And he just did that.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was the Christopher Reeve Superman.
that's
That's why I always looked at it.
it's an awesome poster. It's a
You know,
wonderful
Ed.
movie. Just be wary because there's a few C bombs and there's F bombs and
Oh well, yeah, I learned a couple words in that movie because I
yeah.
did see the PG version, but then I snuck around and saw the rated R version, and I was like, what did they mean by that? But anyway, I was going to tell you, I had one of the actors at my show from Saturday Night Fever. You didn't know that, did you?
Not the
He-
father.
No, he actually calls me on the phone. The father was on a couple episodes of MASH, by the way.
Mm.
That's another story. No, but the fella that was in the paint store, because Tony Manero worked in a paint store.
Yes, he did.
The fella that was in the paint store, his name is Bob Costanza. And
Mhm.
kids out there might know him as the voice of Harvey Bullock, the detective on the Batman animated show.
Yes.
And he was at my show a couple years ago when
Oh,
we did a salute to the Batman animated show, and he was there. And that was one of the pictures he had for sale, was his scene with Travolta in the paint shop in Brooklyn. What I don't know why I didn't think of you, but he calls me occasionally because he's a great guy. But he has another friend out there named Mitch. So I'll be driving and I get a call and it says Bob Costanza. I said, "What's up, Bobby?" And he goes, "Hey, we golfing tomorrow?" I go, "I don't golf." "What are you talking about?" And then he realizes "Oh, I hit the Mitch in Connecticut. Sorry, Mitch." And he hangs up. So
that's
yeah,
cool.
we're like this. But what about the sequel, Ed? What about Staying Alive by
Well,
Sylvester
just quickly,
Stallone?
Staying Alive came out in 1983. It showed Tony Manero's rise to being a dancer, a professional dancer.
And who
He's
was in that movie?
well, pretty much just you know what? Full disclosure, I've never seen that film,
What the hell, man? I even saw that in the theaters because they made such a
and
big deal out
like
of it.
it critically it's often panned, but it
You
actually
should
was
look in
quite
your book. You should look in your book. I bet it's in your book. No, the girl that was in it went on to be on General Hospital. I can't think of her name right now. She had long dark hair. And the other actress, the blonde one with the curly blonde hair, oh, her name was Cynthia Rhodes, I believe.
Oh yeah,
I
I know Cynthia Rhodes.
I thought she married Patrick Swayze. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Cynthia Rhodes. Despite the
Right.
potential powerhouse combination of Sylvester Stallone directing Travolta, this sequel to the popular Saturday Night Fever is an inferior product. Our young dancing hero Tony Manero has left Brooklyn and now wants to make it big on Broadway. Songs are by the Bee Gees and Stallone's brother Frank are
Frank.
forgettable, and the
Yeah.
contrived dance numbers irritate more often than they excite. And given
Huh.
this limping script, the audience may have difficulty staying awake.
Whoa.
2 stars.
Oh, no, but
Now,
who's the cast? Who's the cast?
that's all it said.
Oh,
Cynthia
it didn't say the
Rhodes.
girl. Oh,
Now, Frank Stallone had a hit with the song from Staying Alive. His
yeah.
brother, yeah. Was it Going the Distance or something like that?
That sounds like a Rocky song, but yeah.
No, the song. Have a listen to the song. It sounds exactly like it should be out of Rocky. Oh, Far From Over. I think that's
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. I
It
remember
sounds
the
exactly
video for
like him.
that. I remember when the video premiered on MTV for that. It was a big deal. And
Yeah,
you got the only cameo of Stallone in that movie is John Travolta's walking down the city street in New York and he bumps into somebody and it's a guy wearing like a big fur coat with the
yeah.
mirrored sunglasses and the big hair and it's Stallone and he just turns around and looks at him and then he keeps going. That's his Alfred Hitchcock
Oh
cameo.
yes.
You
But the
know?
film was it wasn't as huge a hit obviously as
No, it wasn't.
Saturday
No,
Night
not
Fever, but
83.
it did okay. It just,
Yeah.
I suppose it's a bit like,
And you forgot, I don't know if they played it down there, but up here, John Travolta went back and kind of made a pseudo sequel to this as Santa Claus. And they played it here during the Super Bowl a while ago. He did the same move. He walked down the street, he did the little hustle, and then he goes to the discotheque and he does the whole dance routine and everything, but he does it dressed as Santa Claus with the
oh,
beard and the big belly. You have never seen that?
I've never seen that.
Oh my God, it's fantastic. It was out like a year ago. I mean, he's dead on and he's doing the whole thing with the hair and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. I'll send you a clip.
I'll look forward to it. And you know what else I look forward to?
Hanging out with me, talking about movies from
Of
the
course I
past
do. And
right here.
how can the listeners do that, Mitch?
Oh, Ed, it is easy as getting in the back seat with Donna Pescow and doing all kind of no, okay, we're not doing that. All
Don't
you
do
got to
that.
do is hit the button below, and you too will be subscribed in a rated PG version of the Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure as we go back dancing and banging butts against Tony Manero and all the rest. Jaws, King Kong, Buckaroo Banzai, you name it, we've done it. We've talked about it right here on Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. And hit the subscribe button, and you too can come along with us on this merry, magical mystery ride.
That's right. So signing off. Watch Saturday Night Fever. It is a great film. This is Ed Dollister.
Look at that. And this is Rockin' Mitch Halleck.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.